Hi, how are y'all? Monero here. Day 23. So far, so good. Instead of just running right away, I streamed some Pokemon Yellow ROM gameplay on the emulator, and yeah, it's going pretty well, pretty fun. I'm gonna go back and actually shave my face this time while I'm taking a shower. And what else is there to do? Eat. I already meal prepped for today, which is nice. I did that yesterday. And then just code, because I already did my Pokemon thing, so I got that out of the way. Just code, and then work out, and then all that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm getting there. Day 23. The days keep ticking down. I'm getting closer and closer to the end goal, and now I've successfully created a database and had the database fill out values, the values that are needed for when it first starts up, and now I'm just working on the login for Python Flask for the website, which should work. I had it working last time, but I want to test it out again. I'm not too worried about that. And then once that works, and I'm able to look at all the categories, look at the currency, search for a category, even though there's no post, because I'm not going to create a post at that point in time. It's going to be later, right? And successfully log in, and then I'm going to see if I'm able to add a user. So in terms of favorites, so I'm going to see if I can favorite a user, and that should be about it, because everything else, that's going to be later. And if I can successfully log in, successfully log out, and favorite a user, and then that will be really, really good. So I'll just keep it very simple, do that for the website. Once that's done for the website, I'm going to go ahead and go to the desktop application, start creating the layout for the desktop application, and then test out, showing all the categories and getting all the queries from the database for that, and then being able to log in and log out, and favorite a user as well, and delete a favorited user, all that stuff. And then after that's done, I'm going to work on the Android app and do the same shit again, and then do it on the iOS application, do the same thing. And once all that's done, then I'm going to start incrementally adding things to the database. Like for instance, I'm going to create the messages right after and make sure that messaging works between all of them, and do everything one step at a time. So I'll do messaging, and I'll always start with the website first, and then I'll move on to the desktop and everything once it works. And then I'll do messaging probably first, and then creating a post, and then deleting a post. I assume both of them will be the same kind of shit. Editing a post as well right after creating and deleting. I'll see if I can edit it, and then after that, do the cart, the favorite item as well, favorite item and cart, and save for later. And then do the settings in terms of changing the password and the email for every user. And I think that's basically about it. The searching for the posts and everything like that, searching by category, advanced search, or just regular search. And then after all that's done, I'm going to do the wallet for Monero. And at first it's just going to be the little in-store market wallet, so I'm not going to have the option for people to create their own local node. That'll be after, right? Because the in-store Monero market wallet, it's going to be a thing 100%, available on all devices, and I'm hoping I'm able to implement it in a way where, yes, you get your in-store market, and unfortunately on the web browsers, the website, if you're going through a web browser and going through a website to view it, unfortunately you'll only have that one in-store market. But for physical applications such as the desktop application and the phone applications, you should be able to host your own local Monero wallet in there But that's going to be literally after I've done everything, because I don't want to spend too much time on it and not work when it's not really 100% absolutely necessary. Because most people can just run their own wallet thing in a desktop application. They'll use the Monero GUI or Feather Wallet, or on the iOS application they can use Cake Wallet, and on Android they have both Cake Wallet and Monero, and then obviously my Monero for everything, including the web browser. Although it's not as secure, I will say that. I wouldn't trust it, to be honest with you. Not that I think the code itself is, stealing information. I just don't think it's super secure. And I think that's a given. I think most people in the community already know that. It's more of like hey, I don't have any other option, so this option is better than no option. Although my Monero would be absolutely perfect if it also added the option to do a Monero Ledger private key with the Ledger Nano and the Trezor. My bad, I kind of messed up on that sentence, but I'm just super exhausted from this run. But if my Monero was able to link up a hardware wallet and use it like that, then you wouldn't have to worry about, oh shit, this thing's stealing my information, and now I can use a web browser. I still need some form of hardware. I still need to plug something in. Maybe if I'm in the library, they might not allow external things, so there are some caveats to it. But I think at the end of the day, I think it would be better. So maybe in the distant future, like in 2 to 3 years or so, I can, if that isn't a thing in my Monero, maybe I can contribute some code and make that a reality. Because I do like the idea of my Monero. It's just too, like having the option to put in your keys, perfectly fine. I get it. You might be in certain situations where that is the only option. But I think having access to a Ledger or Trezor hardware wallet, or any other hardware wallet for that matter that works with Monero, that's fine. Because if the OS is compromised, the web browser is compromised, the website, whatever, at the end of the day, when you send money, it's going to show the address anyways from your hardware wallet, so you don't even have to worry about them like stealing shit. The only thing you might have to worry about them is them stealing your public key, right? But like I said, that's a risk associated with the matter, and that you're willing to take if you're in an emergency. That's how I always look at my Monero. It's an emergency wallet. But like I said, that's kind of the reasoning as to why I'm going to put the local Monero wallets on the physical applications as literally the very last thing that I do, because it's not a huge priority. If I can get it to be done, that is fucking awesome, and if I can't, then I can't, and I'll just do it later. I know it's possible because there's obviously the desktop application, like there's already Monero applications available, so I know it is possible, but it's not something I want to take too much time doing. I want to get everything else done first. So after I get all that done, and after I get the install Monero Market wallet working properly between all devices and the web browser, and the web browser should be the easiest one to have it implemented, by the way. I've already done it before, so I actually wouldn't even have to change any code, to be honest. I wouldn't have to change anything, actually, I don't think. But after that's all done, after I got all of that done, then I'm going to start working on the orders, which is all going to be written in C, the back end for it, to make it super fast and efficient. And, talking to the database, implementing stuff, and, creating the orders, and just all that process, going through the orders, making sure, the time for when a vendor can respond, and all that stuff, making sure you paid the right amount, calculating the amount, which the amount calculated might be done on the front end, might be done on the back end. I don't know. I will see. But I'll do all that stuff, and then rejecting or accepting stuff, finalizing early, auto finalization, disputes, putting reviews, all of that stuff will be at the very end, after all of that main stuff is done, because this is the main stuff, actually the main bulk of the whole entire code for the project. And then once that's all done, test it all out, I'm gonna add Tor compatibility for everything, and then Snowflake extension for the web browser, and just all those other sorts of stuff, testing it all out. So when I say the local Monero wallet's the last thing, I literally mean it is the very last thing. I'm not going to spend unnecessary time on it unless if I've already finished early, because I can always just implement a patch, an update to it, and create it, But especially since all that shit's going to be on the local side of the phone, so I wouldn't even have to edit any sort of database for that. It'd all just be stored locally on a phone or a desktop. But that's why I'm not putting too much stress on it, because like I said, there's already going to be a Monero wallet on the web browsers and online. The website will itself host it, along with hosting a remote node that you can connect to, and a .onion. It will host a middle guard. So I guess you can't really connect to that per se, but I will be running that. It will be connected to Tor, routed through Tor, so there'll be a .onion domain, and then like I said, that Snowflake thing to help out other people to create sort of bridge per se for them. And on the desktop applications, make it like Bisq, where it has the whole, do you want to use Tor? And then obviously I know Android and iOS, it is available as well. That's going to be second to last, because if I can't get it right away, it's fine. I'll just ask for help after the thing is uploaded, because obviously people can just route their connection through Tor anyways, and it will work. And I'll also add the option to turn it off or reroute through a bridge, so that way you can put, if you're on the Android application, you can route your whole phone through Orbot, through the Tor network, have your phone show one IP address from Tor, one exit node and one entry node, and then the application, since it's reconnecting to the Tor browser but using a bridge, it'll be able to work, and you'll have a separate exit node and entry node for that one, if that kind of makes sense. But like I said, that's second to last to implement. If I can't implement it right away, it's not like people can't do it themselves in terms of routing their own connection through Tor. But yeah, that's about it. One problem that I do see rising is protecting the database, in terms of, obviously I want to make this application 100% complete open source. The only problem with it, it's not that I care about anybody stealing the source code or even modifying it to an extent, right? But in terms of, I would need to, I guess, modifying for their own, development. But I mean, or creating their own server, their own marketplace. I don't care about that, But what I do mean is securing the database, so that way, I want to make sure that the database always checks to make sure that the app that they're running is a true, authentic application that I have published, with no changes whatsoever to the application, to make sure that the database stays true, and that people aren't just inserting random values to the database and getting free money and all that stuff, and getting free items, or all that stuff, modifying shit that they don't have access to modify. If they want to delete their favorited users and that's their account, that that's all them. They're able to do that, but other shit, no. So if you're not allowed to do it, the actual point of view of being able to do it, then you're not going to be able to do it. So I'm kind of rambling on with all of this stuff. My bad. I've just been thinking about Monero a lot. I always think about it. That's kind of why I wanted to start those whole Pokemon streams, to take my mind off of it. But yeah, I'm continuing on. Everything seems, like I said, like it's possible, to be honest with you. Like I said, the Tor thing and the Monero local thing is both possible because it exists. And I suspect the PostgreSQL database authentication exists. I know most people make closed source applications, so I haven't found any documentation to secure that one, because I was thinking, somehow when you request the connection to the database, it would somehow check the application, the SHA-256 hash, and maybe do like 4 different hashes. They create all the same result, pass it through to make sure that the database is like, okay, this is an actual, this is a legit application, not modified, not hacked, and we can proceed. So I don't know how that's going to work. I tried coming up with a method in terms of, it doesn't even, in terms of like, finding a way to maybe put the username and password and port number and everything to connect to the database to make the connection to begin with, private and hidden. But if the whole application is open source, then they'll be able to see it. Even if I were to encrypt it, it doesn't really make much sense, so I was thinking of a way to either, first I made it where, you have the open source application and then it would call the file externally that would have the set username and password, but then the problem arises where it's like, where are they going to get that information? Even if I encrypt a separate external file, the open source code will show how it's being decrypted and all that stuff, and it doesn't work out. Then I would have to send the file. They have the opportunity to be able to break into it and all that stuff. Another thing was trying to inject the password in there after it's been compiled, or while you're compiling it, inject it. I was seeing something like that, and it changes up the bytes, and I had done it, but the SHA-256 hash was different. So maybe there's a way to do it. Honestly though, I don't think so, based upon how these hashing algorithms work. So it becomes one of those problems, because I want it to be to a point where, if people can build it from scratch and it works with their build and they're able to just use that build by itself, that would be the absolute perfect thing ever. If it's able to work and ensure database integrity, that would be absolutely perfect. That's the main, that's like the actual legitimate fucking goal. But I don't think that's going to be a thing. So maybe at the very least, what has to happen is that they're able to build it, right? And the build that they get, they check the hash for it, and they can do the 4 different hashes. I was seeing like MK5, maybe it's not MK5, M5, something like that, and SHA-256 and SHA-1, SHA-512, do a whole bunch of different hashes that I'll put out, and they can test out all of them, and if all of them produce the same hash, then they know that that application that they've downloaded from me, or from wherever, honestly, works. They can verify the hashes for both applications. So even if they don't download it from my, from my F-Droid repo, or from my Cydia repo, or from my, Apple Store. I guess the Apple Store and Google Play Store might not create the same hash, unfortunately, because I think they modify it. But you get what I mean. I put it on the website. I put it in my personal website. I put it on GitHub, GitLab, Codeberg, Bitbucket, even a Google Drive thing. I don't even know, just multiple places to put it, even if it's not from me. Checking the hash of the downloaded object, the downloaded executable on whatever device you're on. I want it to be able, where they build it, they get the same hash as the hash of the application that they downloaded. So even if they're not able to use the build exactly per se, because it won't have this password, in the application to connect to the database, at least they can be certain that, hey, this and this creates the same hash through 4 different hashing algorithms that all created the same exact thing. So, I can look through the source code and see what exactly is going on. I can test the application right now, look through the source code later. I can look through the source code right now because I know they're the same application. The only difference might be that the password might not be saved. But like I said, I don't know how to implement that. There might be a way, actually, because I was looking through PostgreSQL documentation and I couldn't find anything for it. So, and most people, when I was looking online and other places, the application is just closed source, so it's just saved in the binary, so they don't really have to worry too much about that. And, it's going to take a long time for people to end up breaking it, and all you do is you just end up changing the password. You can end up changing the username and password, but at the very least, you can just change the password every, 6 months. Every month, if you wanted to make it secure, you could change the password every single major update. So that way you can ensure that they can't use any previous update. So I don't exactly know how I'm going to implement it, but I think there's got to be a way. There's definitely got to be a way, because I want this to be open source. So I don't want it to be closed source at all. That's not a possibility for me. So, we'll see. If worst comes to worst and I can't open source it because of that, then I guess, I would only be releasing the web browser version of it, but even then you can't verify that that is legit what is running. So, I don't know, but I still have somewhat faith that there is a way to implement what I want implemented. Other than that, yeah, it's been a long video. I'm about to just go home and everything like that. I'm already finished, so make some oatmeal, some fruits, some peanut butter, almond milk, banana, strawberry, blueberries, blackberry smoothie with maple syrup, and then some rice and beans later with some chocolate natural Reese's that I made with 100% organic cacao powder, coconut oil, maple syrup, organic peanut butter, and did I say maple syrup? I already said maple syrup. And then just pasta that's just made literally from wheat, no other ingredients in there, with natural pasta sauce, which is tomatoes and regular vegetables and stuff. And that should conclude my diet for today. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm out. Been talking a lot. See ya. Peace. Stay tuned for the application, I promise you. It will be here. It won't be like last year where I say it will be a thing and it isn't. I promise you, September, October, latest time, November, it will be a thing. I absolutely promise that. Alright, see you. Peace. Bye.